Hello retro gamers, and welcome to the second episode of Unreleased and Unobtainable. For those not in the know, in this series of videos I check out games that are either insanely expensive or were never released through the magic of a retro pie. In this episode I'll be checking out the latter as I explore the cancelled, and controversial for the time, Thrill Kill for the PlayStation 1. While admittedly tame by today's desensitized standards, if released, Thrill Kill would have been the first game ever to receive an adult-only rating for violence. In fact, the ESRB even listed on their website. But why was it cancelled, and what is it all about? I'll be going into more depth as far as the gameplay is concerned in a moment, but put simply, Thrill Kill was to be a 3D fighting game where 4 characters would battle in small rooms that were actually urbanized versions of hell itself. While the game was completely finished by its developer, Paradox Development, and mere weeks from release, Electronic Arts came along and screwed it all up when they bought out Westwood Studios of Command & Conquer fame. You might be wondering how Westwood Studios is connected to Paradox. You see, Paradox's publisher was the North American arm of Virgin Interactive, who owned Westwood Studios. Because of this, Virgin Interactive was also acquired by EA as part of a deal which meant that they now had the publishing rights to Thrill Kill. They took one look at Thrill Kill with its heavy use of sexualization and extreme violence, and in keeping with their family values as a company, canned it in the summer of 1998. As quoted by Patricia Becker, who was the Director of Corporate Communications at EA, this product does not meet our standards for appropriate content. Come on Pat, it had a warning screen and everything, even a nice message asking you to turn your PlayStation off if it was too much for you. Oh well, let's see what all the fuss was about. Thrill Kill is as you'd expect any fighting game to be, but apart from the fact that most battles include beyond 2 characters, another interesting twist is present. Instead of losing by running out of health, each character has a kill meter instead of a life bar. The better you fight by using combos and whatnot, the more this meter fills up. If yours completely fills up before the other opponents, your character gets electrocuted, which is metal to say the least, and you can then perform a Thrill Kill on whoever you get to first, which finishes the round. The last person standing wins, and fuss it continues. While not mentioned at all in game, Thrill Kill does indeed have a story. Set in an urbanized version of hell, Maruka, the god of secrets, is a wee bit bored and restless and decides to pit 8 souls against each other. These souls are manifestations of their vices, while all are murderers, appear in BDSM costumes and who knows what else. The last soul standing, stilts or otherwise, wins reincarnation. There are several different modes including arcade, versus, team and practice. The versus and team modes are self-explanatory, as you either choose a match or play as a team. In these modes you can also choose to play against a computer or actual humans, those being souls of the damned or otherwise. While the replayability ultimately lies in the multiplayer, the arcade modes at least adds a bit of incentive. Playing as each character, if you beat the arcade mode by making it past every level of hell, you're rewarded with a CGI cutscene for that soul. It's not much, but it's something. And plus, you've just ensured reincarnation of an evil person. Well done to you. As not a huge player of fighters, I was pleasantly surprised by the practice mode. It takes you through each character and their moves, highlighting the button combos for each, which you can then practice against a pacified opponent. In the heat of battle, I'm prone to just mashing buttons because I'm one of those players, but it was nice to at least have an idea of the moves without having to refer to a menu or a manual. Ultimately, the characters are horribly unbalanced. I mean sure, there's the idea that the slow but more powerful will be extra likely to be a victim of a Thrill Kill because I simply can't move out of the way quick enough, but in practice, it really wasn't that much harder than a less powerful but more nimble character. Talking about the characters, I found their models to be quite detailed for a PS1 game. They're out there and wouldn't offend anyone beyond your conservative aunt these days, but they certainly have a nice charm about them. The well-crafted, grungy environments and the concept of an urbanized version of hell are interesting too. It's a shame that the story isn't mentioned at all in game, as it adds a new meaning to everything happening as you play. Thrill Kill isn't an excellent game, but if it was initially released to a wider audience, I'm sure it would have left a lasting impression. There isn't any solid information out there on how Thrill Kill was leaked to the greater public, but it's become one of the most played unreleased games ever, with several different versions available. These range from beta and censored releases to basically the complete game. On the Wikipedia page for the game, it states that former developers of Thrill Kill released the game files to the group Tasty, who then uploaded it to file sharing services, although no citation is given. Classic wiki. Whether it was the group Tasty or not, which I couldn't find any additional information about, it can be assumed that it was disgruntled Paradox employees nonetheless. The time spent creating Thrill Kill was ultimately not a complete write-off. as the engine written for it was then used in the games Wu-Tang Shaolin Style, X-Men Mutant Academy 1 and 2, and Rock'em Sock'em Robots Arena. And yes, the first game is based around the rap group Wu-Tang Clan. If that's not asking for a review, then I don't know what is. Nearly 20 years later, and EA has still not released Thrill Kill. While it is to be assumed that they don't care too much about their family-friendly image in the present day, with the plethora of adult-oriented games released by them in the last decade, an official release of Thrill Kill still remains non-existent. There's a fantastic website about this game called FuzzDoc's Thrill Kill. In the FAQ, the webmaster claims that a contact from within EA told him that he was planning on putting together a presentation to have Thrill Kill ported to the PSP. Considering the commercial life of the PSP has long come and gone, I think it can be assumed that this was shut down. So, what do you do if you want to play Thrill Kill in the present day? Well, the answer is quite simple. While I'm not going to give any direct links because I'm shit scared of EA's lawyers, it is very easy to obtain the ROMs for this game that can be played through PS1 emulators. The footage for this video was achieved with a RetroPie, for instance. However, if you're still stuck, then I highly recommend a 6-letter website that starts with G and ends with E.